Coming off consecutive 5-5 seasons, there's a lot of enthusiasm this year for the Audubon Green Wave, and it starts in the head coaching position as Dominic Cole, who was the defensive coordinator and an Audubon graduate, takes over for Jonathan Caputo, who was a coach the past 2 years but is now the head coach at Buna. Now, this is a team that was hit hard by graduation, but the expectations are still pretty high for Audubon as the Green Wave look to make the postseason once again. And one thing is for sure, few coaches are more excited at taking over a team than Dominic Cole. Coach Cole, I don't know if there's a more enthusiastic new coach in South Jersey. Just your feelings on taking over your alma mater.
It's a great feeling, but there's some pressure that follows that, so I have to take it with a positive attitude, and that's what I'm looking to do. There's a lot of expectations here, and I definitely realize that, but at the same time, I want to stick around for a long time. It's special to be able to come back and coach your alma mater, so that means a lot to me. So I'm going to do my darndest to keep this position and get these kids to get the same experience I got out of playing on these fields.
Let's talk about your offense. You lost some key skill players, but there's still some experienced guys here and some key newcomers stepping in.
Right. That's a great point. When you lose Brian and Brian Flacco and Chris Borghese, that's a big step back for any team. Brian was not only was he a great running back for us, he rushed over 1,000 yards. He was also all South Jersey linebacker. So that's a big loss. But we feel confident in guys like Keith Machowski and Aiden Borden, who are Keith Machowski's our fullback and Aiden as our quarterback, that we're going to be able to fill those shoes, along with Shane Furlong, who we hope is going to fill the shoes for Chris Borghese at our wide receiver. So we're excited, but we don't want to. We know we have a lot of work to do to be successful this year.
You mentioned Machowski and moving to linebacker. He's just all over the field, a real true defensive leader on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith's a great kid. I actually got to play with his older brother, Steve, years ago. So there you go again, more alumni. Hopefully we get to bring Steve out, push his brother a little bit here. But Keith is a welcome addition. He's getting some looks from some Division I AA schools, rightfully so. He really did a great job in the weight room, squatting close to 500 pounds, deadlifting the same, and hand clean around 225. I mean, these are big time numbers for a high school kid, and he's been a great leader. He's not going to say much, but he's going to prove it by the way he works, and he's going to prove it by example. And that's what we need from a guy like Keith.
Dominic, you got to the playoffs last year, and you gave what was then an undefeated Pennsville team all they could handle before losing a tough 2-point decision. How much does that whole experience help this team as they come into this year?
It's a small portion, I would say. I mean, it's always good to make the playoffs, but every team is never the same. This 2011 team will never be the same after all these kids graduate. So we always want to try to have a fresh feel. We don't want to, our history is very good back in the 70s and 80s, and we've had a layoff from making the playoffs. So we're just concentrating on the 2011 team and trying to get everybody better one step at a time. And if we get too excited about making the playoffs again and things like that, we're going to lose focus on what's important, and that's taking care of the little things in practice every day.
One of the true team leaders for Audubon is Keith Machowski, a fullback defensive end last year who was second team all-conference on defense. Now he's making the transition to the linebacker position. With Keith Machowski, Keith, first of all, going from defensive end to linebacker, talk to me about the transition this year.
It's just a little different. They just want me to use my size to fill the hole a little better. And we're going a different defense. We're going to use one DN, so we need me better at linebacker just to help the team a little more.
Talk about the fact that you have a new coach, Coach Cole, coming in. What's the enthusiasm been like? What's it been like this offseason as you get ready for this year?
Coach Cole does a great job bringing excitement, and we had him the last 2 years too, so we know most of the staff, so we're pretty good, pretty comfortable, and we feel pretty good about the year so far.
You're coming off consecutive 5-5 seasons. How about your thoughts this year about the Audubon Green Wave?
We're looking to improve on that, definitely. That's our main goal, definitely make the playoffs, go farther. Each step, work better to go farther.
Now, you made the playoffs last year, and you had a heck of a game with Pennsville, who was undefeated at the time. You lose a 2-point game. How much did that whole experience, getting to the postseason and playing so well in that playoff game, how much do you think that can help the team this year?
That basically just made us hungrier. Definitely gave us a taste of what it's like, and we can definitely better prepare now for it.
This year's offense will be guided by junior quarterback Aiden Borden, who was an outstanding basketball player and now takes that to the varsity level on the football field. Aiden, you're taking over as the quarterback of this team. First of all, tell me about that. That has to be a pretty neat thing to take over.
It is an exciting process, but it's also kind of nerve-wracking too because you kind of got to run the offense. So kind of got high hopes for myself, but just going to do my best and see what happens.
How about the fact that, you got some snaps obviously on JV and everything? How much was that a help to you?
Always playing football in high school, whether it's JV or varsity or even on the freshman level, really helps just gain experience playing football, and especially at the quarterback position because you just need to just know what you're doing at all times and know the offense.
You're a varsity player in basketball. You got that great outside shot. Does that help you at all playing varsity for one sport as you compete in this one?
I think it does prepare you a little bit for the pressure and just some of the anxiety you get before games and stuff like that.
Coming off a 5-5 season, how about your thoughts for this Audubon team?
We're young, but we always try to work hard and do the best we can, and hopefully we improve and everything goes well.
Hey, one last thing. This is an offense that's always liked to throw the ball a little bit. I guess as a quarterback, you kind of like playing in this.
Yeah, it's fun, but we like to play our strengths, our roster strengths, and so that's what we're going to do and put our team best chance to win.
Audubon competes in the Colonial Conference Patriot Division with heavyweights such as Woodbury and Paulsboro, so the Green Wave won't be favored in that aspect, but getting to the playoffs for another year, well, that's a very realistic goal for this team that is a young team and a hungry one and ready to perform well for their first-year coach.